What makes a ritual a ritual? One of our viewers had this question, and if you have that question too, stay tuned and we'll talk about it. Hi, I'm Laura Giles, founder of Pan Society, and today we're talking about what makes a ritual a ritual. Now, we have discussed this on our podcast. Sherry has a video on YouTube, and I'm sure there's stuff on our blog about it too. But in case you missed it, or maybe we didn't do a fabulous job of explaining it, I'm going to give it another try. So, our listener was looking for something to do to mark the full moon, and she found some suggestions and didn't quite understand how that made it a ritual. So, for example, one of the things said take a bath. So, if you're like me, I bathe pretty regularly and I don't make it a ritual. It's just something that I do. So, that's going to be like a mundane thing. So, when we are doing things without consciously thinking about them, they don't really have too much intention, then that's mundane. You could also make it profane by abusing it in some way. I'm not really sure how you could abuse a bath, but I'm sure it could be done. And then the other way that you could always do things is to keep it sacred. So when you're doing a ritual, you are making the thing sacred. And a ritual always has an intention, always starts with an intention. In fact, the ritual begins when you start the intention. So for example, in this case, we could take a bath for the purposes of purification. Makes total sense, right? So we have our intention, and then we're going to think about how we want to do this. And our plan is going to tell us what our tools are. So for a ritual bath, maybe I want to bring in some candles to bring in the elements of fire and air. Maybe I'd like some scent, also air, so I can bring some frankincense or something like that, something that has a purifying effect, or maybe you just like the smell of it. And then maybe I'd like to bring in some earth just to keep it all nice and grounded. So I put some crystals around my bathtub. So now I'm ready to go. Or you could do lots and lots and lots of other things. You could put herbs in there for the earth. Whatever you do is up to you. It's totally your intention, totally your vision. Get creative with it. And then I'm going to take my bath. So taking the bath is crafting the ritual. And as I'm taking my bath, I'm going to think about the things that I'm letting go of, the things that I'm bringing in, or maybe I'm just emptying out to purify. And then when I'm done with all of that, I'm going to let the water drain out and know that everything that I no longer need and everything I'm ready to release is going down the drain with that water, and then that makes it a purifying ritual. I could do other things after that if I like. Maybe that's just the beginning of a ritual. But if it's just for purification, that could be the end. So, of course, everything has a beginning, middle, and end. So I need to figure out a way to end it. So what do I want to do? So you can always say a prayer. You can always do a meditation. You can always give gratitude. Those are going to be really easy ways to acknowledge that what you wanted to create is finished. Super easy, right? So the thing again to remember is sacred, mundane, profane. Anything can be done ritualistically. You want to just keep that intention to make it special. That's really what the holy days are about, is remembering the sacredness of life. You could also do a ritual for something that you want. You want to manifest something. So you take in the intention of what it is that you're trying to do, the change that you're trying to make. You could do a ritual for gratitude. You can do a ritual really for anything. There is a whole lot that you learn from the process of doing it that I really can't speak about because it's internal and it's personal, it's energetic. So the best way to do it is just to do it. You'll see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. You'll feel the energy of it. When you create your sacred space, the space feels different. When you purify your body feels different as you're going through the process of it. So it really is experiential. If you just go there and you do something and you're like, okay, A, B, C, D, check, 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 done, it's not going to be all that meaningful. So if it's worth doing in a mindful way. So remember the sacred, mundane, profane. Remember your intention. And it really could be anything, because everything is sacred. So you're taking all of these sacred things and putting them together in a way that makes sense for you, in a sacred way to create an outcome. That's it. If you came from a Christian background, you might think, well, we don't do rituals in our church. But you actually do. Liturgy is a ritual from start to finish. It begins in this way, it goes through these processes, and then it finishes in that way. Same thing. If you're from a Catholic tradition, you know that big, it's usually a stone slab or table that sits at the front. That's your altar. Yeah. You might not have thought of it like that, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing that we do. In Protestant churches, they tend to have altars too. So, it's not really a whole lot of new things unless you just haven't been to church at all, in which case it might be new. But it's not that we've borrowed from them or they borrow from us. It's just something that people have done from the beginning of time, really. And they do it in a certain way, but it's different from culture to culture. But if you look into your background, talk to your people, you'll see that this is something you've been doing all along. Maybe just in a different way. So give it a try. See what you think. I'd love to hear your results now that you kind of understand it a little bit better. I hope you understand it a little bit better. And if you still have questions, by all means, ask a question. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And when you ask fabulous questions, it shows your thought process. And it takes an intelligent person to ask a question, to make those connections and say, So, yeah. Appreciate your questions. Keep them coming. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.